Welcome to CEC Gurukul Lectures. Today in the outgoing series on outcome based education, today we will be talking on Bloom's taxonomy. Before that, let me give you a small snapshot of what we have done before. What is an outcome based education? It's not what we teach, it's what we learn. So in a nutshell, we can say that the focus and the benefits of outcome based education is all about what do we want the students to have or to be able to do, how can we best help the students to achieve it, how well we will know whether the students have achieved it or not, and how do we close the loop for further improvement. Here in the outcome based education, the concept is closely related with the continuous quality improvement, and that is the focal point of OBE. There are so many spillover benefits of the outcome based education, that is, it is more directed and coherent curriculum. The graduates will be more relevant to the industry and other stakeholders, and basically more well rounded graduates we will have, and definitely the continuous quality improvement is in place. So that is how we say that the outcome based education is better than the traditional education teaching pedagogies. Now OBE shifts from measuring the inputs and the process to include the measuring the output, that is the income. Now basically these are the outcomes in OBE. Basically we will be talking on these in the coming sessions, but just a small beginning of this. There is a hierarchy model of the outcomes. First, the vision and the mission statement of institute or the faculty is made, followed by the program educational objectives. Then we have the program outcomes, and then we have the learning outcomes of the course outcomes. So we will be talking on these aspects later on. So basically when you talk about the vision and the mission statements and the program educational objectives, these are the long term outcomes of the OBE, and when you talk about the program outcomes and the course outcomes of the subjects, we talk on the short term outcomes, which are very specific in nature. The OBE is basically a student centered learning program with the active participation of the students, with the collaborative events, with the cooperative aspects. So getting the students to do anything active, that is individually or in the groups, is the focal point as far as the student learning is concerned. You can take the example of your own classes where you go and teach, whether online or offline. If you engage the students in one of the activities, could be a case study development pedagogies, or could be some live projects, so they feel connected in the class, they don't lose interest in the class, and that is also the center point of OBE, that we focus on the student centered learning. Now getting the students to work to basically or in the pairs of the groups, so it is also very important, like 2 or 3 people or 5 people or small groups, we can say. They will work in a very collaborative way, and definitely when they discuss, when they move on with the project, it is very good for them, because it's a win-win situation for everyone whosoever is connected and associated with those live projects. Now getting students to work together in a structured group activity makes them a very wonderful person, because everything is done in a very specified criteria, and basically they learn a lot, because they move through the experiments, they move through the experiential learning, they move on with the hands-on training, which is very important for every individual to learn. So this is how we call this OBE framework as a student-centric platform. In this platform, there is a continuous focus on the quality improvement, and for this we plan, we implement, we assess the students, and followed by we take the corrective action. The corrective action could be redoing of everything. So this is what OBE is all about as far as the continuous quality improvement is concerned. Now when we plan, definitely we have discussed in the previous sessions that whatever has to be done in the class, definitely the curriculum development has to be in place after the lot of discussions with the academia, with the industry, with the what the industry or the market wants them to learn, or what the skills have to be developed in them, and then we try and implement these aspects. We try and assess the students that whether we want the intended outcomes, whether we are able to achieve that or not, and then we move on with some corrective action. And we do this 4 activities on a very continuous basis, so that the student centric learning is achieved to the most. So now, after having this backdrop of what OBE is, what is the student central learning, let me today start with the main concept of Bloom's taxonomy. Now basically there are so many problems which as a teacher we face, as a student we face. When the students they are in the class, there are about 30 to maybe 40 students, or could be 25 or 20 students. So when a teacher comes and delivers the lecture, after the lecture is over, how will we come to know that whatever are the deliverables, are the students able to receive that? It's a big question mark, because the environment is the same, the teacher is the same, but the students have their own background, the students have their own life journey, the students have their own pickup levels, they have their own IQ levels, they have their own takeaways. So we are not sure that and we really don't know that if the students have received our deliverables in the same aspects or not, because we attend to more than 30 participants or could be 25 participants at a time, and hence we are not sure of the learning abilities of each student, and not all the students perform in the same way and as the best of them does. So ironically, the input and our deliverables are the same to every student in the classroom. So just understand this underlying statement and the underlying currents of this statement. It means what? That means when a teacher comes, they deliver a lecture, so it is equal to unsure outcomes of their learning abilities, because each student is different. Each student has its own pickup and IQ levels, their taking capacities, their takeaways. So this is the problem which we face. But how does the Bloom's taxonomy work for us? So let us understand what Bloom's taxonomy is all about. The minds is not, the minds of the students are not vessel. They are, basically a fire to be ignited. So this is a very important quote which has to be kept in mind. That is, the mind is not a vessel to be filled. It is a fire to be ignited. Every student is having his own intellect level. So basically we have to stimulate them, we have to actually motivate them so that they are on the path of the learning abilities, because the focus of the outcome based education is all about the learning and not about just doing it or not just taking it or not just attending the lectures. It is about how the student has learned. And basically now let me explain you what Bloom's taxonomy is all about. Bloom's taxonomy is a classification of thinking organized in accordance with the interest of the learners. Now basically we have so much of diversity amongst the learners, so we cannot have the same setup for everyone. So we have to take the actions according to the interest of the learners, and Bloom's taxonomy is a classification of the various and the varied thinking organized as per the interest of the learners. Now basically when you talk about the Bloom's taxonomy, the main focus of the Bloom's taxonomy is to improve the student learning and thinking abilities. So when we are able to have this kind of a setup, we call it as a Bloom's taxonomy, because whatever efforts we take, whatever we do, the main focus point is to uplift the learning standards and to think out of box what they are what they were not doing before. So the main focus of the Bloom's taxonomy is to improve the student learning capabilities, to motivate them and to stimulate them to think in a very different manner. Basically, creating is the highest amongst the thinking skills, and this is what the focus point of Bloom's taxonomy is all about. We try and adopt such kind of a setup. The creativity is out of each child, and basically we are trying to change the thinking levels, move on to a level of creativity which is the highest level of Bloom's taxonomy. Now Bloom's taxonomy, as the name suggests, it is on the person name of the person who created it. So Bloom's taxonomy was created in the year 1956 under the leadership of educational psychologist Dr. Benjamin Bloom, in order to promote the higher order of the thinking in education. Now, such as analyzing, evaluating concepts, process, procedures and principles, rather than just remembering the facts. Now, basically what are we trying to say here? That it was developed by, the originator was Benjamin Bloom, and he came out with a concept called Bloom's taxonomy in the year 1956. He was a big educational psychologist and he wanted to introduce something new. He worked towards it, in a very orderly and very proper manner, and he came out with the Bloom's taxonomy, which is a renowned taxonomy across the globe. Now, basically what are we trying to do in the Bloom's taxonomy? We are trying to promote the various forms of thinking levels in the education, like the stress in the outcome based education in the Bloom's taxonomy is all about analyzing a thing, evaluating the thing, developing the various concepts, developing the various theories, the various procedures, and coming on to the principles, which is not made in a day. So here the stress is not on the rote thinking. What do you mean by rote thinking and rote learning? It is all about remembering the facts. Like the screen is in front of you, you just learn it and just reproduce in your exam. So it is basically out of box thinking level, and the Bloom's taxonomy rejects the rote learning aspects. And as a teacher, we are trying to motivate the students so that they develop various kind of skills. Like when they join the industry, they are given a particular situation, so they have to analyze that situation, they have to evaluate various process, that whether X process is better or Y process is better. So some kind of a cost benefit analysis is there in their minds. They are trying to develop certain principles, they are trying to develop certain procedures. So overall the education, when you talk about the outcome based education, it has actually changed the entire landscape of the global education from rote learning, that is just the remembering of the facts. It is moving on to a higher order thinking level, and that is the focal point of the Bloom's taxonomy. Now, Bloom's taxonomy is a classification system, as I defined earlier. It is used to define and distinguish different levels of human cognition, that is thinking, learning and understanding. Now, basically the Bloom's taxonomy, we are trying to classify the various systems, various levels of thinking levels. So, when you talk about the Bloom's taxonomy, we give stress on the three aspects, that is the thinking, that is the learning, and the third is your understanding levels. The educators have typically used the Bloom's taxonomy to inform or to guide the development of the assessments, that is the test and other evaluators of the student learning, the curriculum, that is the unit, lesson, projects and other learning activities, and the instructional methods like questioning strategies, etc. So, although the Bloom's taxonomy, it received little attention when first published, Bloom's taxonomy has since been translated into 22 languages. So, you can see the extent of its popularity now. And and in one of the most widely applied and most often cited reference in the education, this has been proved that the Bloom's taxonomy is proving to be the best taxonomy across the globe. And just see the translation in the extent of 22 languages, and there are about 20 more which is underway and it is under process. So, the signatories also have increased from 15 to 22, and initially started with 8, then it increased to 15, and India became a signatory to the the Washington Accord in 2014, and overall the Bloom's taxonomy is adopted in various nations of the world, because this is proved to be the best taxonomy, the best classification level of the thinking levels. So, Bloom was the person who invented this, who derived this theory of Bloom's taxonomy, was very arduous. He was very diligent and patient while seeking to dimensity of these concepts and untangle this web. So, he made the improvement of the student learning, that is the central focus of his life work. So, basically if you see this slide, the Bloom's taxonomy is a chart of the ideas that is named after the creator Benjamin Bloom, and it is a taxonomy of arrangement of the ideas, or the way the group things or the individual things, they work together. Benjamin Bloom was a teacher, thinker, inventor. He worked at a college. He created a list about how we think about thinking. So just underline this sentence, that he worked on how we think about thinking. So he came out with a theory which has 3 basic domains. So let me give you those. The first is a cognitive domain, the second is affective domain, and the third is a psychomotor domain. So these are basically the 3 major domains as far as the Bloom's taxonomy is concerned. Now, the levels of the thinking which was invented by Bloom's taxonomy, there are 6 levels of learning according to Dr. Bloom. You can see on the slide the lowest level of the thinking, we call it as knowledge. The second, we call it as comprehension. The third is the application. The fourth is the analysis. The fifth is the synthesis. And the sixth is the evaluation. So these are the 6 levels of learning according to Dr. Bloom. The levels build on one another. The 6 levels all have to do with the thinking levels, and the level 1 is the lowest of the thinking, and level 6 is the highest level of thinking, that is evaluation. So this transition from knowledge to evaluation is all about the Bloom's taxonomy. This Bloom's taxonomy has been revised also, but to give you a catch of the original Bloom's taxonomy, we will be taking care of these 3 aspects of the level of thinking, that is the cognitive, the affective, and the psychomotor domains of the learning. Now basically now we will be first talking about what the cognitive domain is all about. As you can see on the slide, the first is the knowledge, the second is the comprehension, the third is the application, the fourth is the analysis, the fifth is the synthesis, and the last is the evaluation. That is, we call that the human intelligence level of citing a thing, labeling a thing, listing, enumerating, identifying, imitating, matching, name, recall of what we did, reproduce of what we did, state, and basically write. So when you talk about these aspects, we call it as a cognitive domain under the knowledge. So there are certain aspects under the comprehension. So whether we are able to convert, we are able to define, we are able to describe, discuss, estimate, explain, generalize, identify, locate, paraphrase, restate, and summarize. So if we are able to do that, that means we are on the cognitive domain, learning outcomes related to knowledge. Next is your application. If you are able to apply, chart, compute, demonstrate, determine, dramatize, establish, make, prepare, project, solve, and use. This is the application part of the cognitive domain. Now when you move on to the analysis part, we are able to analyze, compare, contrast, correlate, make a diagram, dissect, differentiate, distinguish, estimate, investigate, limit, outline, and separate. We call it as the learning outcomes relating to knowledge as far as the analysis part is concerned. Next is your synthesis. Synthesis means what? It means assembly, create, construct, design, develop, formulate, generate, hypothesize, modify, reframe, and synthesize. The next is your evaluation. When you talk about the evaluation as far as the cognitive domain is concerned, the first is your access, then appraise, you are able to conclude, you're having a lot of critique in mind, you're able to decide, defend, diagnose, evaluate, justify, rank, recommend, and support. So all these aspects were the learning outcomes relating to knowledge, and moving on from lower level of thinking to the highest level of thinking. The lowest level of thinking was knowledge and the highest level of thinking was evaluation. So, Bloom's taxonomy has given us 6 levels of thinking levels, moving from knowledge to comprehension to application to analysis to synthesize and to evaluate. And we have seen the various domains, the various learning outcomes relating to knowledge. So, cognitive skills of domain was the first domain of the Bloom's taxonomy. The second aspect is affective domain. So, let us have a look on the learning outcomes relating to attitude, behavior and the values, that is A, B and V. Now, first is your receiving. What do you mean by receiving? From receiving to responding to valuing to organizing and to characterizing, that is, you are able to accept, attend, describe, explain, locate, observe, realize, receive and recognize. These are the receiving learning outcomes relating to affective domain of Bloom's taxonomy. Moving on to responding. Responses are in terms of the behavior, the comply, cooperation, discuss, examine, follow, model, present, respond, show and studies. These were the outcomes of affective relating to responding. Then we have valuing. The valuing is all about accept, adapt, alter, after, change, customize, develop, improve, manipulate, modify, practice and revise. These were the organizing outcomes of the affective domain. Then we have characterizing. Characterizing is all about authenticate, characterize, defend, display, embody, then habituate, internalize, produce, represent, validate and verify. So, we have discussed till now the two various aspects of the Bloom's taxonomy. The first domain which we discussed was cognitive domain, in which the 6 level of order thinking levels we discussed, from knowledge to comprehension to application to analysis to synthesis and to evaluation. And affective domain talked about receiving, responding, valuing, organizing and characterizing. Now, coming on to the third most important domain, that is the psychomotor domain, the learning outcomes relating to the skills. So, the first aspect is to observe, then is a model, then is a recognized standards, correct, apply and coach. So, these are the psychomotor domains. So, we will be talking about all these aspects one by one. When you talk about observe, it is about hear, identify, observe, see, smell, taste, touch and watch. This is what we observe. Then coming on to the model, we attempt, we copy or we follow, we intimate or we mimic the model. We have to react the model, repeat the model, reproduce and show. Coming on to recognize the standards, it is all about to check, to detect, to discriminate, to differentiate, to distinguish, to notice, to perceive, to recognize, to select. Next is about the correct. It is all about adaptability, adjustment, alter, change, correct, customize, develop, improve, manipulate, modify and revise. Next we have apply, that is we build, we compose, we construct, we create, we design, we originate and we produce. The last is a coach, that is we are able to demonstrate, exhibit, illustrate, instruct, teach and train. So, these were the basic domains of Bloom's taxonomy, that is we talked about the various levels of thinking levels. We talked about in detail the learning outcomes relating to cognitive domain, that is knowledge, affective domain, learning outcomes relating to attitude, behavior and values, and the psychomotor domains, that is the learning outcomes relating to the various skills which you have been taken or adopted.